Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the Champions Cup final. It has been a long competition. A lot of sides, great sides, have been and gone, and two remain. Leinster versus La Rochelle. Now, this is a matchup we have seen in Champions Cups recently, and it's a little bit hard to tell who's going to win it because Leinster have had their victories over La Rochelle. La Rochelle having their record-breaking victory when they did knock Leinster out of the semi-final a little while ago. This is going to be an outstanding contest. Both sides full of passion, full of energy, and ready to go. Looking through, first of all, at this Leinster starting lineup, it will be Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, and Tyke Furlong as the front row. A very strong starting lineup and a great way to start your four-pack. Ross Maloney and James Ryan. Then as the locks, Caelan Doris, Josh Van den Flaren. Now, that man wasn't expecting to play 78 minutes last week, but he had to. It was a Champions Cup, a URC semi-final matchup, and there was an injury very early on, so he had to make his way out onto the field. Played very well throughout that contest. Hopefully, he does the same in this one. Looking through, number 8, it will be Jack Conan. Jamieson Gibson Park at 9 alongside Ross Byrne. At number 10, still no Johnny Sexton. Robbie Henshaw in the midfield alongside Gary Ringrose in the back three. James Lowe, Jimmy O'Brien, and also Hugo Keenan. Looking at La Rochelle, the challengers go into the Aviva, and it's certainly going to be a tough challenge, but with this side, they've certainly got a decent chance. Wardy, Bergeret, and Yui Antonio as the front row. Suzzy and Will Skelton going to be the locking duo. Then at number 6, there's going to be Pierre Bourdahin. Hopefully I've said that correctly, but I think I absolutely butchered that name. Lavani Botia, the big Fijian, at 7, and Gregory Eldred at number 8. Tuera Barlow gets a start at 9, with Hastoy at 10, Dante and Suitini in the midfield. Now, Suitini's actually been going pretty well for La Rochelle recently. He had a fantastic game up against the Exeter Chiefs in the Champions Cup semi-final. Raymond Rule, Dylan Lade, so a little bit of South African flair there out on the wings, and Bryce Doolan, the last man in the starting lineup for La Rochelle. Seems like we've spent my day / your evening together doing things rugby. Thanks so much, Harry says. Just no worries at all. We've still got more action after this one. We are hoping to cover South Africa versus New Zealand in the 7s. That is, if this game finishes on time, which hopefully it will. I think they're normally pretty good in the Northern Hemisphere with getting those games out exactly when they are taking place. But yeah, it's been a big day of rugby. We started live streaming at about 7 p.m. Been going for 8.5 hours, and we've still got this big old matchup just around the corner between these two sides. Do let me know your prediction, Joss, for this contest. I feel like it's one of those intriguing ones that, because we know that La Rochelle in the past have beaten Leinster, that adds another level to it, because this game could go either way. La Rochelle, they're one of the top sides in the top 14. Leinster, they were unlucky in their last contest up against Munster. They were defeated, and that hurt. And also, I've never heard of the team for Stade Rochelle, says Connor there. Although, I guess a lot of people probably more used to Ehire West, maybe. Of course, that Kiwi combo with the 9-10. But then saying that, there's no Victor Vito either. The La Rochelle side losing some of their Kiwis, but one remains, Tuera Barlow. And it's got to be Leinster, says Joss Pike, although that is what people were saying about that game last week up against the Munster side. They thought that it was going to be a Leinster day at the Aviva, though you'd like to think they've got that advantage. Both sides just about to make their way out onto the field, and La Rochelle by 10. The prediction there from Nate. Gregory Eldred lining up at the front. It looks like James Ryan will be the man to lead out Leinster now. They are not wearing their classic blue kit. They've actually got that slightly alternative strip, which is the darker blue with that gold trim. It always looks very nice, very fitting of a champion side. Perhaps for La Rochelle, that bright yellow. You guys know that that is a colour that I certainly enjoy looking at. I think they're going to be right in with a fair crack in this contest. Both sides making their way out. The smoke tunnel is going nuts at the moment. The crowd are electric. And the Champions Cup, the final. It's been a long tournament, like I mentioned. We've had the round of 16 ages ago. Quarterfinals, we have been covering quite a bit of it on the channel. I have to go with La Rochelle by 20, says Connor there. Oh, okay, that's a bold prediction. Definitely because you hadn't heard of the fly oven. Busy sent you a Discord, says Kerr. Can you hear us, Kerr? That is the question, because it will be blasting at the ground at the moment, I would think. Let's have a look. Yeah, very similar to where you were sitting for the last time. There, what? We'll put it up on the screen as well. While we're at it, we have got a viewer at the game. Looks like decent enough weather. Doesn't look like it's going to rain. Fingers crossed anyway. If it does end up raining, this could end up being a completely different contest. One moment. There we go. Look at that. That is where he is situated. That's that way around. Right. We'll have to keep an eye out for you when they score in that corner, Kerr, if you can hear us. If not, we'll do the signals. Let's go to Wera. Show him your Chiefs skills. Well, that's the thing. It's Tawera Kurbalo versus Jameson Gibson Park. The Chiefs know how to pick their halfbacks, don't they? Because they have had quite a few sensational ones over the year. Yako Piper in charge of this one. We'll wait and see how that goes. I know that some people like him. Some people do not like him that much. But Yako, he'll be happy to be there. I believe he's going to be at the World Cup too, if I'm not too wrong. But Leinster, they will be kicking off from left to right here for this Champions Cup final. The intensity will be high in the early stages. We know that La Rochelle like to play a physical game with their forward pack, but Leinster's ruck speed could be something that helps them out as well. Here we go. Ross Byrne kicks us off, and we are underway for the Champions Cup final. Bryce Doolan takes it 5 meters out from his line, boots it into touch, gets a high five from his teammate. A nice way to slow the game down early on, get those nerves out of the way. My guy, Connor Crowley, welcome to the H Trains. Hamish is your commentator. And also Kerr, our Sunday Well Rebels at it. And so we have got there about Tawera Kurbalo. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the battle of the halves. Nicely done there by Leinster. Set play. Conan goes to Sheehan. And it's a try already for Leinster. Is that the quickest try we have seen in a Champions Cup final? Because if it's not, it's right up there. Leinster in front of a home crowd. Dan Sheehan lights the place on fire. Sexton in his suit in the stands is giving everybody a hug that he can find. But the set play, that is one I don't think I have seen a side use in quite some time. It was the act like you're going to jump. Don't go to the guy at the front, but do a little lob one over the top of him. Find that second receiver in the line out, and Dan Sheehan strikes. And true, just like that, there's Nate. And that's certainly, like I mentioned, it made the crowd ecstatic, that is for sure. But Leinster, what a classy play. Couldn't stop them. Dan Sheehan, and very loud, I can imagine at this stage, that first try being scored. You have to try and get us a little video clip, Kerr, if you can. We won't be able to show it on the stream, but just for the Discord to hear what kind of atmosphere they've got. The scoreboard is not working. Looks like it's working fine to me. 5-0 for Leinster after 1 minute and 50 seconds. Ross Byrne. Oh, the crowd go completely silent. It's such a weird feeling when watching a game in Ireland. You get the loud cheer of the try and then the quiet hush of the kick. Ross Byrne to line it up. 2 minutes in, this would give them a 7-0 lead over La Rochelle. Taking his time, lines it up and gets it over. That will make the score now 7-0 for Leinster after only 2 minutes 20. Hello, says Atini. Welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. Missed a quick try being scored in this contest, but both of these sides, of course, going to try their absolute best. Matchup, Gregory Eldred trying hard to stop the try from being scored. You can see the celebrations on Leinster's coaching box. Now Jack Conan breaks the line. What a phenomenal start to the match he has had so far. Now Jameson Gibson Park goes off to James Lowe. And are you wearing Leinster got a try? Says Connor. Nicely taken by Bryce Doolan at the back. This time will be kicking downfield. Gets a little bit more distance on this one. You can tell that he tried to put that bit of extra juice on it. And it is cold, says Etini. She's not too warm here in New Zealand at the moment either. We're sitting 8 degrees apparently, but I'd say real feel's probably about 3. Now, 3 minutes in, the Leinster chance of starting. Dan Sheehan about to throw on this line out. I don't think Leinster will use that one again for a very long time. It's a little bit of a secret play and perhaps something that we could see Ireland use throughout the Rugby World Cup, which is just around the corner. James Lowe kicks it in behind, looking for the 50-22, and he's got it. What a kick from James Lowe. That'll be 5 meters out from the line. He is fired up. Well, we've got a lot of Kiwi connections in this contest across the two sides. Winter is coming, says a Tenny. But what a kick from James Lowe. You can see Dylan Lades trying to chase it down, but that one rolls out 5 meters out. He does the fist pump to the crowd. And now another chance here for Leinster. They have come to play. And they look serious. I feel like that game last week up against Munster, if anything, it just awoke the beast a little bit more. Thrown into the front. Jack Conan takes it off the back. Porter tries to link up with Sheehan. Not quite as smooth as they would have liked. They had a little knock on the ground from La Rochelle, so it will actually become a Leinster scrum. Watching Mario, says a Tenny there. Well, hopefully you are enjoying Mario. The colour of the La Rochelle kit's kind of close to the bananas on the track in Mario Kart, aren't they? And also, come on, Stade Rochelle. There's Connor, first scrum feed of the day. Big Will Skelton talking at the back there. The pack weights, La Rochelle, 926, Leinster, 899. I think the difference in these two sides is definitely Will Skelton. Beast of a man, the Aussie. You're hoping to make his way into that World Cup squad as well. In the near future, they won't be too far away from being announced as well. We're probably 1 or 2 months away from finding out exactly who's going to be making their way to the side or making their way to France. The chance. Our World Cup glory. Jamison Gibson-Park takes it off the back, goes to James Lowe's first receiver with a bit of crash ball, tackled by Tawera Kurbalo. Off to James Ryan, 5 meters out. Jamison Gibson-Park, nice skip pass to Ross Maloney, taken down low by Jonathan Dante. Now Josh Van den Flare, the skip pass. Hugo Keenan cleaned up by Dante as well. Now off Ross Byrne in the corner. It's another one for Jimmy O'Brien. And Leinster, what can you say? They're on fire at the Aviva. 6 minutes in, 2 tries scored. Like I said, starting like a dream. Who says Kerr? And then Lowe's left foot is atomic, says Eric. And Curry Cup Bulls won the Lions with 1 year. It was a very close game between those two sides, I did see. And Lynette says his light foot. At least the payback today, says Kerr. It does seem that way. It seems like they are more fired up than they have ever been before. They're ready to go and getting loud, says Nate. I'm from Ireland, but I don't like Leinster. That is why I'm going for Stade Rochelle. There's kind of a La Rochelle just not getting off to the start of this contest that they would have been after. I wonder if Kerr cheers loud enough, he might get himself on the big screen. At the moment now, 12-0 after 6 minutes. I'm not sure what the most one-sided Champions Cup final was in terms of the biggest difference between the sides. It's a little bit too early to say it, but she's heading in that direction. And who win in the final with the URC? So it is going to be Stormers versus Munster. I think because it's a South African home final, I think they should be able to get the job done in Cape Town. And come on, Leinster Rugby, says Adam TNT. Make some noises and knock them on their feet. Says Natty, yeah, baby. Says Mumbo Jumbo now. Lining up the kick, Ross Byrne. And it's just drifting away to the left-hand side. Hits the left post and bounces back out. Score remains 12-0 now for Leinster. Jameson Gibson-Park, I talked about it before the match. The ruck speed that Leinster are able to use. And it just makes it so difficult to be able to deal with how quickly they get to their breakdowns. Munster to do it next Saturday. And sorry for spelling mistakes, says attending. No worries at all. Well, says Eric. Yeah, great start to the match for Leinster. Ball available at the back for Jameson Gibson-Park. They are inside of their 22. And James Lowe with a massive hoof downfield taken by Bryce Doolan. La Rochelle have to try and find an answer. And it's a great run from Doolan. Moves it up into the half of Leinster. Tackled by Tyke Furlong. Kerr Barlow goes across. Rush defense there from James Ryan. Timing it perfectly. Back across again. Kerr Barlow goes to Will Skelton. Starts pumping the legs, but he's dragged down by Jack Conan. Now Dante receives it in the midfield. Shut down there by Robbie Henshaw, who's willing to muscle up with him. Of course, throughout the Six Nations, we get to see Ireland versus France. There's a little bit of that repeating today. That will win today with 1 point. says Johannes, and let's go. 12 points to nothing. Let's go, says Adam TNT. Now nice run forward again from Gregory Aldrit. Kerbarlow. Going to the short side. Lavani Bortia now gives it off to Dylan Lades. 40 metres out from the line, tackled by James Lowe. This is defence normally pretty tough to get through, although Munster, they did find a way of doing it last week. Leinster won't let this go in Dublin, not again. Says Kerr, nice step. Now Raymond Rule. Ball on the outside here now for the big man at number 6, whose name I can't pronounce, but he is a tank of a man for La Rochelle. Now around the side, Raymond Rule. Going with the pick and go, almost getting a little bit dangerous on that side of the field. Third quarter will be telling, says Mumbo Jumbo, and great start from Leinster. And what are the odds of Leinster winning for 5-star? There's Adam TNT. Winning for 5-star. I assume that's on the Champions Cup side of things. They got a pretty good chance at the moment. Panthers for the win, says Kerr. Now back across. Oh, Raymond Rule gets his knees taken out from underneath, and they may have another look at that one. Josh Van der Flair over the ball, wins the penalty for Leinster. Tell you what, Gary Ringrose is fired up. Jameson Gibson Park takes it quickly. It's going to be an advantage for offside. Now Maloney gives it across here. Cross kick attempt from Ross Byrne. Looking for James Lowe. Just drifts into touch, and they will go back for the original penalty. And hello, Johannes. There's Atene. Yeah. I'll ask you the question, Kerr. You probably can't hear us at the moment, but if you can. Oh, yellow card for Tawera Kerr-Barlow. That is a massive blow for La Rochelle. Yeah, Kerr, if you can hear me, which you may not be able to, is it sold out? I believe it will be relatively close to it. It sounds pretty close to sold out. But Tawera Kerr-Barlow already going off the field now. After only 10 minutes, they're going to be playing against a 14-man side here, Leinster. They'll be happy about that. Kerr set a yellow in there as well. Now Ross Byrne. That one into touch. Oh, yellow for Kerr. That was not a yellow card, says Connor. See, the thing is, they're saying that if Kerr-Barlow didn't make that tackle, they would have had a good chance of being able to fly through, possibly create an attacking scenario. So he was a little bit unlucky, but you can also understand why they went that way of yellow card, with the fact that if their other defender wasn't there, Jameson Gibson Park would have been straight through. Dan Sheehan now throws the ball in. It's gone over the top. Stolen partially for La Rochelle. They say it goes backwards. So I believe Leinster, yes, they've ended up back in position. And also we've got their total sellout. Couldn't even fit a Snickers in my pocket, says Kerr. I'm impressed that you can hear us. Have you got a headphone in? No, I want to try Dan Sheehan again. Scores another one for Leinster. One-way traffic. This one is Jameson Gibson Park from New Zealand. He is originally, yes, did play for the Chiefs for quite a bit of time. Jameson Gibson Park and TRY, the try from Kerr there. Great job from Leinster. It was Tyke Furlong, the big man who managed to get in there. OMG, says Attendee, this game's going in a one-sided direction, and I hope that this game was close. That's not the case here. Jimmy O'Brien, nice wide cutout pass. Raymond Rule tried to force him into touch. No chance, though, when Dan Sheehan gets that body position low. And earbud committed to the Kiwi lads. You certainly are, mate. Not many people would be at a sold-out Champions Cup final and have... Oh, actually, now that I think about it... Oh, no, you can't. I was about to say, sometimes I guess makes sense because at the cricket, they give you that little thing to be able to hear the commentary. In this case, you're ahead of me, so I can't really, you can't, I was going to say you could pause the game so that we're in time. And then I realized that that's not quite how it works. You can't really tell everyone at the ground, hang on, boys, we're just going to wait 30 seconds while Hamish gets caught up. Kick is hitting the post again, the left hand upright. Not getting it right in that case. And Kerr, I can see you. There's Connor, and Leinster are winning today, says Adam TNT. If they don't, I'd be extremely surprised at this point because they have started with a hiss and a roar. And, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be very hard to beat them, that is for sure. Speaking of roar, there's a lion in the crowd. And a sold-out Champions Cup final, says Adam TNT, certainly is. Now Jack Conan, inside of the 22 after the kickoff from La Rochelle went long. Gibson Park, back to James Lowe in the pocket. And he has had a very good boot downfield a couple times throughout this contest, including the 50-22 he was able to get for himself. Now, nice step. Bryce Doolan. Shut down by Maloney and Jimmy O'Brien. Lavani Bortia plays halfback. That across again. They are using their big forward Reda Wardy. A little bit of a counter ruck there from La Rochelle. They've got the advantage. Lavani Botia scoops the ball up now. Out to Dylan Lades. Hasn't really had too much of a chance throughout the early stages. Humiliation. The final should have been Leinster versus Toulouse. Says French Flair there. I mean, in that case, that means that Toulouse needed to win their last game, doesn't it? And it's such a tough game sometimes. You know, you're playing extremely well in the top 14. Little chip and chase there from La Rochelle. Ball almost sits up, but Robbie Henshaw does manage to control it. And Kiwi lads, the flash score you are using, it certainly is yes. 14 minutes through at the moment. La Rochelle, I'd like to think they won't take the 3. I think Leinster could be playing anyone today. The mindset right now, it doesn't matter who the other 15 are. Exactly right. Like the fact that they've come out so aggressive, they've come out clinical. That little line out set play, the crowd absolutely would have loved that one at the ground, I'm sure. But it just seems like something's clicked that they didn't have last week. And yes, they've changed quite a few of their teams since last week. Maybe it was Leinster underestimating that last game, trying to balance out their side. But now they've realised they could put anyone out there as long as they're in that mindset of wanting to win. They've got a very good chance of doing so. Was that a sentence? That felt like it dragged on a very long time, my words there. And Ronan O'Gara still coaching, says Blues Nate. Humiliation. The final should have been Leinster versus Exeter, says Adam TNT. That one's gone down. They have said play on. Now it looks like Leinster have actually stolen that one on the rolling ball, but it's a knock on. Only 2 meters out from the line. Lavani Botia, the big Fijian, picks it up. And La Rochelle now looking to get themselves back into the contest. Lades goes across there, rushing up there, Leinster, but it's an advantage to La Rochelle. First knock on was against James Lowe. Interesting. Josh Van den Fleur decided he'd push the first player he could see. That first player was Will Skelton, who then kind of put his hand on his shoulder and said, now, son, are you sure you want to do this? I'm about 30 or 40 kgs heavier than yourself. I've got the reach. I've got the size. And Josh Van den Fleur, I think he then went, we'll just leave it for now. We'll find someone a bit smaller to be able to push and a shove with. 4 minutes 30 remaining of the Tawera Kurbalo yellow card. 16 minutes in at the moment, and Leinster already scoring at a point a minute. Leinster for the best team would beat our Reds, who beat the Chiefs, probably the best team in the world at the moment, says Michael. Just make sure no South African sides hear you say that, because they get quite angry. Stormers, people would say that they're one of the best sides at the moment, club level wise, but Leinster, yeah. Watching what they were able to do throughout the URC and the fact that they were able to balance that and make it through the Champions Cup final, I feel like is definitely something to be admired. Bryce Doolan actually having to play halfback here. Position like 90% right now, and territory be like 60%. Says Blues Nate. Although now it's their chance. Too much movement there at scrum time. We'll have to have a reset. So it is Furlong versus Wardy. It is Bigaret versus Sheehan. And it is Porter versus Yui Antonio. It's going to be some big pushing happening there. Andrew Porter's ear is pouring with blood already, unfortunately for him. Cauliflower ears. It's not Leinster's drive that wins, or to win that wins. It's their refusal to lose once they have the same mentality, says Kerr. And that's why next week's URC final, I hope, is close. More close than this at the moment. But I think La Rochelle might be on the verge of getting themselves a try. If these French side don't wake up, they could be in for a father, mother of a beating, says Dennis. Or Dennis, sorry. That's gone down in the front rows again. Too much movement, says Jaco Piper. Also, to lose ragdoll Stormers. Get real, mate, says Michael. Although one game can't really judge it completely, can it? Because you look at the game that Toulouse played as the one that they got knocked out of the Champions Cup. They got ragdolled badly. So in that case, you got to have your tiers. The Stormers, at the moment, through to a URC final, that's pretty impressive. Now, they didn't do too well in the Champions Cup, but they're still beating some very good sides around the world. And also, Devon get the tables, says Kerr there. There's plenty of heads hitting the ground, I should say. And a bit of Bubba Ray. The thing is, that's the only thing I remember they say. Other than that, I don't think they really had any other sayings. Did they? Nice scrum there. They've got the advantage now for Gregory Alrit. It's held up here, so they will be going back for the original penalty. 18 minutes in at the moment. Coming in on the angle. That was Andrew Porter, who is now even more bloody than he was before. Morning, Kiwi lads. Oh, Leinster head sweet, as says Spider-Man, and they'll turn up Adam TNT. And there as well. 2 minutes remaining now of the yellow card of Kerr Barlow. I feel like there's a chance that La Rochelle may go for the scrum again due to Leinster getting curved around a little bit in that last one. And there's also that risk that maybe Leinster might get themselves a penalty of their own or a free kick. Leinster in the huddle at the moment. Devon get the tables for Leinster. Says Adam T on TNT, I should say. Right, another scrum coming here. You know, the crowd's starting to fire up as well. They're annoyed that we're seeing 3 scrums in a row. Andrew Porter gets the ear taped up, which is good news. You don't want your ear half by hanging out while you're in a scrum. Must not be pleasant for Dan Sheehan, who has to deal with it next to him. And there's La Rochelle. And also, whoever they hope Leinster are wearing a condom. Safety first, kids, says Kerr. See, I know where you're going with that, and I want to say like the next part of that you feel that Leinster are, but like they're doing something to La Rochelle, but currently the scrum looks like it's a bit of an awkward one, but it works out for La Rochelle. They end up with the ball now. Jonathan Dante bumps off one. The big man, oh no, has he thrown that at the line? Josh Van den Flair is asking for a knock on, but I believe it is going to end up being La Rochelle's try. I almost turned Irish for just half a second there, but Jonathan Dante scores the try there. La Rochelle trying to get back into the contest. Big bump off there of Gary Ringrose. He does look like he just kind of throws it at the line. So was that your side of the field or like your end of the field, Kerr, or the other end? Right, the crowd have seen the replay. They're not happy. I believe that is because they've seen a partially, maybe little knock on the ground there. Let's go. Can you imagine the best of the world round robin playoff? That would be very fun. I wish they'd do it. I think they talked about doing it at one point, but then they were like, nah, it's too hard to organise with the schedules that we've got. I know the yellow card against this Spider-Man. Yeah, this time it was against the Kerr Barlow. They haven't actually put it on the big screen again. And that kick is good. So that will make the score now 17 points to 7. They are still quite a bit behind here, La Rochelle. Come in as $6 underdogs now. They would have been a lot higher than that, though, earlier on in the contest. But great run from Jonathan Dante. You'd have to say, benefit of the doubt, he's got his hands on that one. And nobody here liked that. No, they wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been quite high on the wish list of seeing a La Rochelle try against their home side. To Kerr Barlow, they're back on the field. Big shot on him by Robbie Henshaw. I think someone told them, French lads, game started 20 minutes ago. Here's Dennis. And also, we have a game on our hands. We certainly do. Let's go. Here's Nate. Now, Real goes across. Commentators just talking about the fact how they thought it would be a low-scoring contest. Not in this case, it would seem. Now they've lost their feet. Trying to get in there. Kerr Barlow can't get to that ball. It's actually waiting at the front. Now Bugeret has to actually help him get it back. The ref deliberately look away to avoid seeing the knock on. Says Spidermek. Now Eldrick taken down by Ryan and Ringrose. They're asking for the penalty to the touch judge. That's not the way to do it, Leinster. You're going to get yourself in a little bit of trouble. They're not careful. It looks like they're going to be rolling it back for Kerr Barlow to once again put it up this box kick. 21.5 minutes in for the touchline, or though it may just stay in the field of play. Yes, it does, and nicely taken by Hugo Keenan. Low tackle on him by Raymond Rule. Now Leinster have another chance to unleash this firing backline. They've got the advantage there for no clear release, and the penalty goes the way of Leinster. I have no preference who wins. I may make comments only to wind people up. Apologies in advance, says Kerr. That is all right. You are the main sponsor of these live streams, so I guess you're kind of like, a good example is you're kind of like the Dana White of our chat. How you kind of own it, but then you don't. He has that thing with his wife. You don't have that thing with your wife. You can't really be the Vince McMahon of the chat either, because he's had that thing with the other lady. So it's kind of like that. And no, look the other way, Spider-Meek. And good morning, New Zealand. Says Robert, welcome in. And it looks like Leinster going to slow this one down here. Take on the shot at goal. This will just give them that little bit more of a lead. 13 points to be exact, so they'll be looking to maybe get another 3-point later on in this half. Crowd go back to being silenced. Anyone who is wondering as well about games taking place while we were away, Australia were able to beat France 26 points to 12 in the London Sevens. And then also Fiji currently leading up against the Japanese 7 points to 0. As Jameson Blues versus the Tawera Chiefs, New Zealand boys. And hi there, Hamish and Rugby Rockers. I've just finished 10-hour day. Wow, need to relax. How's the rugby? It's fast-paced. Been a very good final so far. That kick has gone over. And that will now make the score 20 points to 7. Give me Vince, if Ruth plays the game, we have a connection. Says Gail, well, she's now in the chat. Leinster in charge so far. Says Ruth. 17 minutes remaining. A round robin similar to the Euros between World Cups. Says Mumbo Jumbo. Because they did talk about a Club World Cup in about 2025. But nothing ever really situated from the chat. I don't think so. I mean, I'd love to be able to see. Oops, Ruth, my bad. Says Kerr. Now they have been told to use it at the back. Good morning, Amish, brother. How are you? You're all cool. Going Leinster by 7. I'm doing very well, Bertie. I'm excited. 4:11 a.m. I have no idea why I'm wide awake. But then I look at the rugby and I realize exactly why I am. We've got another game after this as well. It's going to be New Zealand versus South Africa in the sevens. Jameson Gibson Park goes back to Ross Byrne. Looks for the kick in behind. La Rochelle now going to be trapped inside of their 22. Looks like maybe... Will they? Oh, no, they don't get a chance to kick it for the touchline because there's already a penalty. Oh, it's offside. Jonathan Dante offside here. He looks very confused. A 10-hour day on a Saturday. Fair play, says Flesh, and the DJ has arrived. Also, awesome stuff, brother, says Birdie V. Jonathan Dante penalised for that one, so it is going to be another chance. And Kerr sounds pretty interesting. Says Roof. Also, thanks, Audi Nate. Says a Roof there as well. Right, so Leinster, this will not be a kick for the post, though. It's just a little bit too far out. Ross Byrne will instead kick it for the touchline. That'll be about 20 metres out now from La Rochelle's line. Leinster have themselves another attacking opportunity. See that the coach at the moment, he's not looking as confident as he was half a second ago, teasing me. Someone unfair, says Kerr. 15 minutes remaining. She's testing you. It's like the Vince McMahon with all of the young divas on his roster, isn't it? Oh, knocked out of the hands for Jameson Gibson Park. It's going to be the knock on. Doesn't look happy, but it is going to be a scrum for La Rochelle. Well, thank God someone's awake. As for them French lads, I think they might need a bit more sleep, says Dennis. It certainly took them a little while to get going in this contest. I think it's the best way of describing it. Oh, yeah, nah. That was actually knocked out of Jameson Gibson Park's hands by Gregory Eldred. The crowd boo, which I believe means they might consider going upstairs and having a look. But I think Yako's pretty happy at the moment with his decision. Hey, howdy, hey, y'all, says Grumlands. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well, Katie. And busy day, lots of strange, funny folks. I met some ladies from the island of Reunion, in Germany, visiting Cape Town. Have fun. They're going to be, or have fun there. Going to have tea and pizza. Pizza sounds fantastic. I'm feeling a pizza at some stage, not now because it's 4 a.m., but tomorrow. Although tomorrow I have live stream, so maybe it will have to be a bit earlier in the day if I was to get a pizza. I have sad news as well. I was going to have my chicken nuggets and chips in between my streams. I only had time to cook the chips, and they weren't great. Go Leinster, says Scrumless. Now that's going to be a free kick to La Rochelle. They may consider going back for another scrum here as the option. Andrew Porter, he's going, what's that all about? He's not happy. What do Leinster do? Looks like, okay, they're just going to kick this one downfield. Try and get some meterage. Hey, Root, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi, and go Leinster, says Scrumlass. Now, it's gone high from Hastoy. Chance for James. Oh, beautifully taken by the Irish winger. Now, Jameson Gibson Park goes off to the right-hand side. Big run forward from Tyke Furlong. Now, looks like Ross Byrne will be putting this ball high. Maybe a little bit offside. They are one of the Leinster guys. Oh, Tawera Kurubalo having a bit of a juggle there. Breaking through one tackle, going head-to-head with Jameson Gibson Park now. and wrestled down. Oh, getting some slaps there from Jonathan Dante. The thing is, his light slaps probably feel like getting smacked in the head by a pole. We got a donation from Kerr as well with Ruth. The thing is, Kerr, that I believe you are making history. I believe that will be the first donation we have ever had from someone who's at the stadium while donating. So I feel like that is quite the accomplishment. As Ty playing, he certainly is. Oh, good, glad he's feeling better, says Scrumless. And there is our worthy opponent. La Rochelle looks like it's available again for Kerr Barlow. They are just outside of their own 22. Good tackle made low from Jameson. Gives them Park and the physicality of Ryan. Counter-ruck there from Leinster. And it's still just available now for La Rochelle. Oh, Will Skelton's crushing Jameson, gives him Park and his teammate. And it's a Kiwi Lads milestone. Says Scrum Lads, great kick downfield. Ball doesn't find touch though. Manages to somehow bounce back inwards. And it is available again for Leinster, although it's stolen in the breakdown by Lavani Bortia. La Rochelle, they are down by 13, but they are not down in spirits. They know that if they get another try soon before halftime, they are well and truly in this contest. Will Skelton driven backwards. Wardy gets his ankle stuck in out from underneath him. Will Skelton's just sitting on that man. What's he doing there? He's still riding him like he's a horse. I think it was James Ryan, his opposite number. Now, a lot of pressure from Gary Ringrose. Leinster looking for the counter-ruck, and I believe it's available. Yes, it is. Leinster get themselves the penalty. It was my donation to make it over 2,000 New Zealand dollars. So that is insane. Oh, tell you what, there's a scrap on the cards. You don't want to go for Will Skelton. You need about 3 of your teammates to get old Will down. But yeah, your generosity is hugely appreciated, Kerr. You have made a game-changing difference to the channel. Says Jordan, fight. When's your birthday, Kiwi boy? It is the 2nd of December, so still quite a wee way away. I was like, come on, Leinster. Let's get the 5th star, says Mark J. Also, thanks for your generosity. Given to the Kiwi Lads, Kerr rocks. Hamish, fabulous, hey? Here's Ruth. Right, Yucko Piper. He's trying to control the team. Will Skelton right up in the face of Leinster saying, well, if anyone wants to have a scrap, I am happy enough to take that job on. Hey, brother, it was raining yesterday. Now it's hot as heck again, says Scrumlass. I hope the weather gets a bit better here. I mean, we've had rain and drizzle and just rubbish, as you'd call it, till hopefully today. And it will stop being good. Oh, dear. No more fights, please. There's Blues. No, it looks like James Ryan actually going to go off the field. Maybe that's why Will Skelton was sitting on him. To try and keep him safe in a weird way. Going to be taking on the 3 points, though, Leinster. We thought that might be the case. Naughty boy. There's Kerr there. Right. Have made the change now. Will be Leinster's number 19, Jason Jenkins, out onto the park. That is to replace James Ryan just for now. They've had a dream start. I can't do an Irish accent at this hour of the morning. If it was like 9 p.m., we'd be good to go. Because it's 4 a.m., doesn't quite work. Now, Ross Byrne, kicking a little bit 50-50. Literally, he's taken 4 kicks. He's got 2 of them over. Out the wind. It's going to be completely silent at the Aviva once again here. While Ross Byrne lines up his kick. For anyone wondering about the sevens, Fiji currently beating Japan 28 points to 7. Ireland actually have their game just around the corner. They will be up against Argentina. So is Munster going to beat the Stormers? Tell me your thoughts, fam. Says Scrumless. Well, it's going to be a tricky game if they can bring that fight and the passion that they brought into that game up against Leinster near the final moments to be able to keep that lead. I think they're going to give them a decent challenge. Me and George, we've actually played that game on Rugby Challenge. That will be coming out next week. It was quite an enjoyable video. I think it was one of our best Rugby Challenge ones that we've had in a wee while. Awesome. So, Scrumlass, by the way, I want to swap hot for cold weather. Says Blues, Nate. I mean, I would take some hot weather if it's on offer at the moment. And Leinster 20 to the 7 of La Rochelle, although now they sit 23. Going to be kicked high. And also we have got there a Kiwi great guy. I'd love to hear your Irish accent, says Mark. I think I could offend 90% of Irishmen. In fact, here's one. This is my Irish accent, and I am impersonating James Lowe. Sorry, that's a bit cheeky, isn't it? Of course, James Lowe, bit of a Kiwi boy at heart. But yeah, my Irish accent, my tongue doesn't work because I've been saying like Argentine names, Fijian names, and like my tongue, it feels like it's about 5 times bigger than it should be at the moment. I feel like for the Irish, your tongue goes back a little bit more, maybe, or at least I have to with a Kiwi accent. Now, rolling more here for La Rochelle. No one's really engaging, which means that they can just keep on marching forward. Lavani Bortia taken down by Dan Sheehan. Now has to release that ball. Oh, looks like Josh Van den Fleur having a bit of a flop on the ground like he is a fish. Oh, and it's the penalty. The flopping has worked. He had his ankles held. Piper has totally lost. Weird decisions for both sides. I'm going from hardly hearing you to having you shouting in my ear that this crowd need an auto volume. Says Kerr. Yeah, it's certainly going to be an electric atmosphere there at the ground. But surely you're loving every second of it, aren't you, Kerr? Here's a question. Although I think I know the answer. Atmosphere at the Glasgow versus Toulon game or the atmosphere at this one? I would say that this one may be 5 times more in terms of the atmosphere compared to that last game, just because it is home side. Everyone's getting behind them in Kiwi. I've got to get myself a Greece mug. Is it a good mug? Is it a sturdy mug? Lavani Bortia getting the fingers taped up. Gives possession back to Leinster. Comment from the commentators, and it's true. I mean, you can't afford to give Leinster this one for sure, says Kerr there. Looks like Adam TNT's playing his keyboard like it's a piano going from one side to the other. And then he you did all right overall, I'd have to say. I remember someone back at high school, everyone knew their password for some reason because it was just QWERTY. Like they just went straight across the keyboard. It was a good life lesson, I think. It was not my password, by the way. It was someone else who I knew. Looks like someone's broken their strap around their shorts. Someone's going to have to take their kit off. It's Lavani Borti, and the crowd are cheering very loud. Gets a spank on the ass from Yui Antonio as well. And damn it, I should have brought Rufia with me, says Kerr. Your wife doesn't watch these streams, does she, Kerr? You'd be all right on that. Is your wife with you for this game? Because I think you said you have 2 tickets. That would have been a great first date. It would have been, although you wouldn't have been able to hear her. It's like when you try and date someone in a nightclub and you just spend the whole time yelling and they just can't hear you. He was on the ball. He couldn't get it. The penalty goes the way of La Rochelle. This is the best game so far, says Connor. It's certainly going to be a fast-paced one. Both sides still in it to win it. I know La Rochelle, they are a little bit behind on the scoreboard, but another try here might not do too badly for them. And a dub accent isn't a thing you need to have in your ears. Brought my old man. Oh, that's nice. I assume you brought him to the Glasgow game as well, didn't you? Is he a Glasgow through and through boy, or is he just a rugby lover? The plastic screw top. Does he get confused at why you're constantly typing on your phone as well? He's like, who's that guy on your phone? Why has he got the scoreboard? Unless I'm in his other ear. Hello, Kerr's dad, just in case. I'm a neutral, but Leinster do seem to be getting away with coming in at the side. There's Tony McCarty now, Lavani Bortia. Gets into the 22. Dan Sheehan tries to hold him up, but now they do have to release him. I have to say, with the action-packed first half, this game's been flying by. They're going to have a long, involved discussion at the club, says Grumless. A rugby lover all around, says Kerr. Now Bryce Doolan inside of the 22, looking for the exit, goes off the right boot, which I believe is not his favoured kicking side. Now James Lowe goes for the low, bouncy ball, well controlled at the back by Hastoy. Hit hard by James Lowe. Back across now. Henshaw puts it high. This will be a tough one to take to Vila Kurabalo. Handles it well. Finds the pass on his outside, and now Hastoy gives it off to Lavani Bortia, the type of player who can play pretty much anywhere on the field. I was like, well, time to go to London town. Also, the plastic screw top where I used to that I used at Shepherd's Bush, Anti-Podian Hangout in London. Pop down the old chippy. That's going to be a knock on, was it? No, it was off the knee. So it's going to be play on. And now in a foot race, Tyg Furlong versus a lock. Kick forward. It's cleaned up by Hugo Keenan just. But that was a bit of pressure on. Brilliant running there from Romain Sazi, who wasn't giving up in the chase. He looks exhausted after that one. But the ball was just loose, available for La Rochelle. Well covered, yeah, very nicely done by Hugo Keenan as a fullback. You got to make sure you're that last line of defence. The thing is, he's come in from a long way to the side. Sorry for pointing right into the face of you guys, but he's come in from way back, and the amount of ground he's had to cover to get to that breakdown or to get to that opportunity of stopping the try is absolutely brilliantly done by Keenan. And that crowd is incredible. Doing a great job of being the 16th man for Leinster, says Tony McCarty. Yeah, they certainly get him behind the home side, that is for sure. Although La Rochelle still need another try before halftime if they want a real crack. Bergeret goes back to Hastoy. Nice backline move here for La Rochelle. Bryce Doolan moves up to the 22. Kerr Barlow off to the right-hand side. Bergeret now will have his crack. He's tackled by Tyg Furlong. Big run from Raymond Raw. I almost lost my voice there. We can't have that. We're still early on. We've got the whole of the Sevens Day to cover tomorrow. That will be probably about 15 different streams. Yuni Antonio gets his pants pulled down by Josh Van den Flair, but he didn't do it on purpose. Now 10 metres out from the line. Raymond Raw, another run forward. So Kerr Barlow looking to his right. Goes off to Bergeret, who's always there as a first receiver if they need him in that four-back, but over the ball. And has he got it? No. Jason Jenkins loses his footing. Will Skelton now finds the offload to Dylan Lades. Goes along the ground. Lavani Botia picks it up. It's La Rochelle side. They have got so many different nations covered in just this 15-man starting lineup, whether it's New Zealand, Australia, whether you're looking at South Africa, France, of course, Fiji. The list goes on. Now Kerr Barlow 10 metres out from the line. Hastoy, draw and pass. It's going to be the try. And it will be none other than the number 13, a player who did brilliantly in the game up against the Exeter Chiefs. It is going to be Sueteni. Now, La Rochelle get that try that they needed. Ouch, Hamish. Pokes me in the eyes, mate, says Blues Nate. Can only imagine the crowds right now will be amazing to see and hear. Oh, please tell us, lovely citizens of South Africa. There's Grumblies and Game On. Do you cover that? New Zealand, South Africa, sevens. And now, Hammy, do you cover? We are hoping to. The only problem we may encounter is if this game runs slightly longer than it's supposed to. If it doesn't run longer than it's supposed to, though, we should be able to cover that game on the time that it starts. If not, we may be about maybe 3 minutes into the contest, but that is the plan to cover it straight after. That will be the last live stream commentary of the day. Not really, though, because we are New Day here in New Zealand. The kick is successful. 14 points now to 23. And good try. Might make the game. Great run from Sueteni. Goes through. Scores the try. And like I mentioned in the Exeter Chiefs game, he did very nicely. Leinster dominating so far. Says side to canvas. I mean, they had a very good start to this match, that is for sure, but we cannot take La Rochelle out of the equation yet. They've just managed to get themselves a try, get back within the 10 points, and let's go long. Rochelias. Still second half, says Nate. Now 50 seconds remaining. I believe Kerr Barlow will roll this one back and go for the kick. I don't think there is. Oh, no, they might. Okay, this is risky. They're going to try and create more of an angle here for the kick, but with so limited time left on the clock, they may actually consider just trying to wear this down a little bit longer. Seems like the tide is turning in this game, fair or not, says Joss. I mean, La Rochelle have come back into it quite nicely. I think Leinster, they came out with that hiss and a roar, and now they've got to be a little bit more methodical with it. La Rochelle retaining that ball. Now Kerr Barlow going across. There's quite a bit of space opening up, but they decide to kick this ball away. Looking for the 50-22. Well covered back there by Hugo Keenan. 9 seconds remaining in the half. He will kick it in mind, La Rochelle. They can just wait patiently, although it looks like they want to keep playing. Bryce Doolan puts up the chip and chase. Tries to run onto it. Knock on from James Lowe. Oh, Yako said backwards. Touch judge says, check your eyesight. And that's going to be halftime, ladies and gentlemen. 23 points to 14. Also, we have got the Kerr like one of those shooting stars, hot and bright and fast. Geez, she's getting steamy, Kerr. And the chat up to Kerr Barlow. And also, third quarter is always telling, possibly go to the wire, which will be exciting indeed. And I think the right excited. Maybe a little bit excited. Can't see anything for instant. There's Alejandre. Unfortunately, we are unable to show match footage or audio. That is due to licensing, but I can show you a picture that someone sent us while they were in the stand. There you go. That's about as much footage as we are allowed, unfortunately. Time for some food. Thanks for the commentary, old boy, says Dennis. No worries at all, mate. Yeah, hope you do enjoy your meal. No time for work can be done. See you later. See you, Spider Meat. We will see you later on, possibly for the sevens tomorrow. We have got quite a few games coming up just around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, Samoa have confirmed themselves a spot in the quarterfinals. They will be going head up against the second place team in Pool A. And we will know that in just a short amount of time. And good games second half be interesting. You know, just what to say, says Kerr. And I also can relate. We do long hours here in Norway. Keeps me out of mischief. And good games second half be interesting. But yeah, that's the thing. La Rochelle could have easily, after having those couple of quick tries scored against them, could have dropped their heads and gone, not our game. But they instead, slowly, they weren't rushing it, just slowly working out how to get points here and there. They scored 2 tries throughout that half, including that last-minute one scored by Suitini. It really got them back to a good position in this contest. Are you going to cover the URC final next week? We certainly are, Clive. Got that one coming up on the channel. And also, myself and one of the other Kiwi lads, we did end up playing that game on Rugby Challenge 4 and decided to see how close we could get to the real scoreline. So be sure to keep an eye out for that video in the near future as well. The next game of the sevens that we have got on, ladies and gentlemen, it will be 5:33 a.m. with a little bit of luck. This game will be over in an hour's time, and we should be able to transfer straight to New Zealand versus South Africa. Are they at Leinster or La Rochelle? They are at the Aviva. So Leinster home field advantage. The crowd are absolutely loving it, although they won't be as comfortable as they were when Leinster were 17-0 here. By the way, mate, are you guys worried about the World Cup coming up, says Dennis? I think some Kiwis are, because Foster's still at the helm. But for me, because I'm going to be watching all the games and also commentating every single matchup, I think I'm just excited to see which matches kind of live up to the expectations, I guess you could say. New Zealand-France is going to be a fantastic opener. When we get to see someone like an Ireland versus South Africa, England versus Argentina, that's a game that I'm intrigued about. Drive safe, Spider Mick. Remember, looks hard, works hard, yeah. Says Blues Nat and Stormers are an awesome side. They certainly are. And y'all yeet, says Crumlads with the 10 out of 10. Yeah, the game that was taking place as we were doing the commentary was Fiji versus Japan. And Fiji, I believe they ended up winning that game 54 points to 7. A little bit one-sided. Anyone interested in that game? Try scored by Paula Noia Thukalau. He managed to get himself 3. Waisia Nathunu scored 1. Patitarenga, Nodovalo, Teria Tamani, and also Ponepate Loganamasi, the other try scorer. So they scored a lot in that contest up against the Japanese. The next game that has taken place is actually Argentina versus Ireland. And that will be an important game for both of those sides. That is only 2 minutes away from starting up. Yeah, it's been a very entertaining day. A rugby referee friend of mine just texted me the following. Ref has lost the breakdown. I've been pissed on by Leinster. Can't watch much more of this, says Kerr. I mean, Jaco Piper's always a bit of a 50-50. Some people think, yeah, he's not too bad, and other people do not like him one bit. And some people would say he referees different things than other people. Like the last knock on that he completely missed, even though it was in front of him. One of the touchies had to tell him. Let's not forget the Aussies only have to turn up to win their group in the Rugby World Cup, says Fleshen. And as Jaco Piper, isn't it? I effing knew it, says Grumless. You see, Jaco, I think he's more just happy to be there. Like, at the end of the day, it's a Champions Cup final. He's getting the best seat in the house out there running around with the teams. But I think in that case, he's kind of forgetting that he's the ref. So he's just trying to watch it rather than have to take part. I should mention another team that have now secured themselves a spot in the quarterfinals, Australia. They'll be playing at 9:29 p.m. tomorrow night or tonight if you are in New Zealand for the quarterfinals. Yeah, throughout this first half, Leinster, they tried a new set play off a line out and it was very successful. Sell it as if you're going to the back and then actually loop it over the front man, which is something we don't see too often. Normally, if you're going to go short, you just go to the man 5 meters away from you, but they actually looped it over. Jack Conan ran onto it, got the ball back to Sheehan, and that is how they managed to get themselves their first try of the contest. Then there was another one not too far after for Jimmy O'Brien, and then the third try was also scored by Dan Sheehan out on that same right wing side. Wales could sneak in. Anything could happen, Flesh and says Blues. Now, yeah, I think that is the closest group, to be honest. Wales, Fiji, Georgia, Portugal, and Australia. And then I believe they go up against the sides in England, Argentina, and Japan's side of the draw, or the pool of the draw. So that will be quite an exciting one. We could see Australia, England as a quarterfinal. We could see Wales versus Argentina. Those two sides have actually played each other quite a bit recently, and they're normally pretty entertaining games. I remember watching one of them. I believe it was Argentina versus Wales, and Lee Halfpenny, I think he got injured within the first minute as soon as he tried to run. I think Rufus run away to download Discord, messaged me about those classes, says Kerr. And Yako, he needs to pipe down, old mate Yako Piper. Yeah, he's just, he likes watching the game, which is great. And beer line is long. It will be like, I would say, with the fact that La Rochelle are a little bit closer back in the game, I think the beer line will be just that tad longer because there'll be some people who are stress drinking. So hopefully you do manage to get your food. Oh, no, sorry, you didn't say food, but are you getting food, Kerr? You're going to get some hot chips? Or is beer in a separate place to the hot food? It probably is. Now I think about it, bit of a tricky one to be able to get both. I bloody love a hot chips at a game of rugby, although sometimes they aren't great. I remember MCG chips, they were fantastic. But my mum and dad, they went to a rugby game ages ago, and they said that the chips were that disgusting that, like, they just couldn't consume them. They were just soaked in oil. And that's like, my dad will eat most things. And as a Munster man, great to see an Irish side doing well. Love to see Munster here. Oh, I'd love to have seen Munster here well next year. There's Dennis, and that's the thing. The Irish sides are still showing like they are right up there in terms of the quality. And Jakob Piper, bless him, he admitted to he made the wrong tour during that British and Irish Lions tour. That cost the ABs the win. He admitted to trashing the Sheds out of regret, says Scrumlass. Mate, I'm more worried by Fiji than Jones's Aussies. Here's Fleshin. Yeah, there's a couple interesting ones. Oh, Argentina down 5-0 up against the Irish at the current point in the 7 matchup. So Ireland are going to get it not just in the Champions Cup final, but also in the sevens as well. But yeah, there's going to be some good sides going through to that next stage. But I should mention anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got the URC next weekend. We've got sevens a little bit later on in the day. We've actually got one more match after this one. And then alongside that, we are also going to be having more sevens action tomorrow, starting from 8:30 p.m. or 8:45, in fact, New Zealand time. We will be going right through all the way to 4:26 a.m. Come on, Leinster, from a Connacht fan. And Connacht, they did very well in their last matchup, didn't they? Up against the Stormers. They never quite let the Stormers get ahead of them by a huge margin. It was just in the end, they weren't quite able to keep up. And then the scoreline started going quite a bit more one-sided at the end, but I don't think that replicated how the game was played. The Connacht boys, they are just showing New Zealand versus Argentina, the cup final from not too long ago in the sevens comp. And Michael Cheika wants Eddie Jones for the quarterfinals. Wallabies could dodge Argentina, still a chance. Here's Nate. And Leinster isn't an Irish team. It is the Irish team, says Gareth. Oh, poor Peter O'Mahony. Eh? He's one of the players who comes in, always does well when he heads in for the Irish. Imagine if Peter O'Mahony signed for Leinster. Imagine the outrage that would be about for Munster. I feel like that would really cause some big boos out there. Mate, what's your home club? Says Dennis. Are we talking in terms of like super rugby level? I live pretty much directly in between Christchurch and Dunedin, so I'm halfway in between the Crusaders and the Highlanders, so I'm pretty impartial. Overall, I'm a fan of the Hurricanes kit. That is probably my favourite New Zealand Super Rugby team's kit. But yeah, I think from doing the commentary, I've just gotten that used to pretty much calling games straight down the middle, and I kind of forget to support someone, if that makes sense. The Kiwis in the Toulouse Sevens for the Sevens. Did I just clarify that the Toulouse Sevens was a Sevens competition? I think I did. But they actually won the gold in both men and women. New Zealand trying to back it up. I love greasy, floppy chips. They're good to a certain extent. As soon as they get too greasy and they're like undercooked as well, that's when you start to draw the line a little bit. Like my chips tonight. I decided I'd have my tea in between the streams, which was just shoestring chips. And then I ended up, they're in the air fryer. They didn't go that well. They ended up a bit burnt. Same why those are the best. There's Crumless. I think it's just the oil and the salt. They really get the brain. I think they say that something to do with hot chips is or not hormonal, but something in the head that goes, yeah, that's what we want. Go, everyone got a cross to carry. Hey, lads, says Marco Vonapop. Good, mate. Good morning. That's an early morning start for you on a Sunday, Marco. How are you going? Hope you are having, well, we're having a good sleep. Now, second half just around the corner. Hamish is a Stormers fan. It's been decided for him. Says Grant, imagine the banter between Eddie Jones and Michael Checker come the rugby championship, says Blues Nate. Yeah, there'll be a bit of trash talking going back and forth between those two, I'm sure. But it's going to be exciting. Rugby World Cup. I believe we're only 3 months and about 15 days away. And what's to eat there, folks? I had a chocolate croissant for a snack. So flaky butter and tons of melted dark chocolate. That sounds very nice. I had a small plate of overcooked chips. And Leinster give us the blueprint to Islands game. Give it up, show us everything. There's LB. And there's always a chance, but honestly, I'm not seeing the Aussies getting it. I've had a few beers, says Fleshin in Argentina, 7 to the 7 of Ireland. Yeah, pretty even at the moment between those two sides. They head a little bit further through and match up. Second half, I think we're only about 3 ads away. I would say we've got a BBC UK TV ad. That's the guy off Love, actually. What's his name? He was named Colin in that, wasn't he? He slept with a whole heap of foreign ladies. Sounds like a smart man. And don't you start exciting us with food, and Southern Hemisphere Rugby is not as intense as it was before. It says helping account. And I say 10 out of 10 comfort food. And scrum time with Mr. V in the room is mumbo jumbo. Right. No, I thought that was the last ad. And hey, all, I'm trying to wake up. My eyes are glued shut, says Marco. Don't worry, Marco. You're doing a pretty decent job of your typing with the closed eyes, but we'll keep you informed. You may end up falling back asleep during the second half. It's been an intense one. 23 points to 14. We saw some quick fire tries from Leinster, 3 in a row. 2 from Sheehan, 1 from Jimmy O'Brien, and then La Rochelle slowly fighting their way back into this contest. Finding themselves 2 tries, including that last one by Suitini right at the end of the first half. Also, a bit earlier on, Jonathan Dante, the midfield being quite successful for La Rochelle so far. Let's have some cones, brother. I think that's cones, I assume. And also, have you tried that rose wine yet? Portuguese, the best, semi-sweet. There's Roof there. Also, you think bad chips are bad? Came home other night after 16 hours of work, went to fry a few eggs, put on deep fat fryer, thinking it was the fry pan. Oops, not good. Says Dennis. Yeah, I haven't heard of many people deep frying eggs, to be honest. With 16 hours of work, that's commitment. It's more than we do. We're only up to about 10 at the moment of the commentary. I've basically got covered all the flu. Ain't no one got time to test. Right now, man, feeling like well, hopefully you do feel better relatively soon. Sleep is the best medicine. Probably something that a lot of people hear from their mothers and whatnot, but I didn't really do that while I was sick, and that's probably why I was sick for a lot longer, because I wasn't sleeping as much. I spent the whole days while I should have been resting editing videos for the channel. That's why that GoPro cricket video managed to get uploaded because I'd wake up early in the morning, spend 12 hours here editing, doing thumbnails, getting everything sorted, and then I'd go to bed, and the whole time was just half asleep. But it was very productive. And I was like, having greasy chips. When you come out of the pub, you can tell I grew up in a small town, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. You're not supposed to promote wine from other countries. You're a Cape Town girl, says Grant. But nicely taken there by Kaylin Doris. Didn't really have a crack in the first half, Doris, when it came to running the ball, I don't believe. I'm trying to think of one run that he had, and I can't. I don't think I can think of a Josh Van Flair run either. Jack Conan, he certainly started the match well, though. He had a couple good early runs. He's kicked downfield. Nicely taken by Bryce Doolan. Now goes across to Gregory Aldred. Straight at the line. Runs at Andrew Porter. Is taken down nicely. Told to leave it there, Porter. Going off to the left-hand side now for La Rochelle. Raymond Rule. Ankles taken out from underneath him. She'll be sleeping now. We've got the game on. True. I think I was the same. The rugby had to take priority, but yeah, make sure you do get plenty of rest after the game. You don't want to be completely buggered tomorrow. And as a block, oh no, it gets worse for me, says Kerr. Get us damage. He's been holding the court all night in New Zealand for our rugby pleasure. And I think Kiwi lads should do a wine review. Fun fact, I've never had wine. So that would be an interesting video because I wouldn't know what I'm supposed to do with it other than I'd just, like, if you had George in a wine tasting, he'd just look, down it goes, down the gullet, and it'd just say, tastes like grapes. I don't know what you get from George in a wine tasting. Nicely taken by James Lowe, though, for Leinster, 1 minute and a half into the second. And it looks like they're going to be rolling this one back for a box kick again. I'll put on the ball high, Jameson, Gibson Park. Get those few extra meters on it. Bryce Doolan takes it well. 40 meters out, steps round Robbie Henshaw, who was rushing. Now tries to break through the tackle with Tyke Furlong. Does find the offer to Tawera Kerr-Barlow. Now to the right. Doolan plays half. Goes back to Aldred. Hastoy short ball. Brilliantly taken there. And that is brilliant work from Suetini. Breaks through 2 tackles. Just lost his footing, though. Almost could have gone all the way for La Rochelle. Now Lades plays half. Aldred goes off to Tawera Kerr-Barlow. Wrestled down. I believe I heard an advantage in their favour. Now going back across. Dylan Lades. Little skip. Doesn't manage to find his offload. Over the ball there, Park. So they will go back now. And sleep deprivation is dangerous. Morning, Age. Hello, David. I feel like that's the thing. I've always been told that when I get tired, I turn into, like, I have the same not tendencies, but I have the same body language / things that a drunk person would have. This time on a live stream would be epic, says Grant. I wouldn't even know what I'm doing. I'll probably fall asleep. Wine and biltong in the bath. Jeez, that's a party, isn't it? We don't have a bath anymore. I think it's out in the shed, but it would be a bit hard to get to because it's up on top of something. Looks like they're going to take on the 3 points here. La Rochelle get them within the 7. Hastoy so far. He's kicked 2 from 2. And that kick has gone over. So that will make the score now 23 points to 17 in favour of the home side. And penalty kick is the correct choice here, says Gareth. And also welcome to the wine tasting, says Scrumless. And we mean the mother city, says Fleshin. And wine is delicious. Never had wine. Oh no, says Fleshin. I need breadsticks. I need cheese, says Scrumless. I don't think I've had a breadstick either. Like, I've had like a big baguette. Or not a baguette, a French stick. You know a French stick? The ones that they have at the supermarket that are just massive. It kind of looks like I'm gesturing with something else there. But like the massive long French stick of bread. You don't really know what to do with, so you just smother a whole heap of butter in it and scoff it. Now, what's the score in the 7s? How's Argentina looking? At the moment, they are losing 7 points to 14. The Irish are in the lead. What is sleep? That is true. Sometimes on the weekends, I actually slightly forget that you do need it. 36 minutes remaining, though. Aldred, the penalty did end up going the way of Kaylin Doris. Oh, in fact, no, sorry, it was for that little knock on. And here we go, Stormers. Here we go, Rule and Leeds. Says Daniel. Yeah, there's quite a few South African players sneaking their way into this La Rochelle side. That's game so far. Any chance? The France took over. Says Ed Vogel. I mean, they're slowly getting closer. They're only 6 points behind now. What channel can I watch it on in Australia? I assume Stan Sport would be your best bet. That one. And also, we have there from Kurt at Roof. Don't worry, I have secret ways. How important will subs be? I think they'll be crucial. La Rochelle, they've got an extremely strong starting lineup, but not many well-known players coming off the bench. Maybe Joel Scalevi, Thomas Leval, but other than that, not many well-known names. Whereas you've got Charlie Natai, he's been very good throughout the Champions Cup so far for Leinster. Luke McGrath, Jason Jenkins, Michael Alatoa. Big scrum there from Leinster, and they do get the penalty advantage. So already with Alatoa on the field for Tyke Furlong's worked out nicely. Kurbalo jumps on that ball and forces it down. It will be the penalty now for Leinster. And I think they may go for the 3 points here to just take those ones back. And we have got their La Rochelle's rucks are a shambles. Brad, we were off to La Rochelle next year, says Ed. There are rumours that Brad might be heading off somewhere else. Just like a lot of Kiwis. I mean, how many New Zealanders are going overseas? Mwongas. You've got the fact that I can only list Mwonga at this time of night makes it kind of sad, but there are a lot that just not coming to my brain at the moment. Okay, Hamish needs something more exciting than chips, says Roof. I think I do. I've only had chips and a banana today, and I've been up since 12. So that's like 16 hours. I need some protein. I had to have some chicken nuggets after this. Now, kicking chance for Leinster again. 46 minutes in. Ross Byrne. Those kicking stats up just a little bit more after he did get his last one over. Also, a lot of last year's La Rochelle won Challenge Cup yesterday without Toulon as well. And the biggest BS is that I couldn't even get one World Cup ticket, man, says LB. Our deep breath for Ross Byrne lining up this kick. Who's in the teams for the World 15 versus the Barbarians? I know the Barbarians announced it on their Instagram. So of the Kiwis who made it into that side, I believe there is Stephen Luatua and also Aaron Cruden. I think are the only two. I think there's also an Australian in there. Quade Cooper is playing. Samu Karevi are the Barbarians. Can't be having no mud fight. Don't want no dirt on my breadsticks. No dirt in the wine, says Scrumlass. The kick is successful. 26 points to 17 now after the Burn penalty. Isn't Brody in Japan or retire next year? I think his plan is to get one more season in overseas before he hangs up the boots. Now gives him back, rolls it back again. Looks to put the ball high. I think that the second half isn't going to fly by as quickly as the first half did. That was kicked out on the full from Gibson Parks. And making that little mistake. He's not happy about it. La Rochelle now in a very, very handy position. Googling holidays to Cape Town. Blue train time. Hey, Kerr, could we come to Cape Town too? Because I like the idea of trying a braai. I've talked about it for ages. We have to organise it. We'll try and sync up our schedules, which I think will be tricky to do. Can you please tell me Argentina in the lead? I mean, I could tell you they're in the lead, but I mean, I'd be lying. They are still down 14 points to 7 at this stage of the match. And also, commiseration to Wellington on the Backpackers Fire as well, says Gareth. Yes, rough stuff happening at the moment. There's also tsunami warnings for a couple of the Pacific Islands. Big shot on Lavani Bortia. Speaking of Pacific Islands, the Fijian penalty goes the way of Leinster, though. That's against Robbie Henshaw. And now La Rochelle may be able to take back that 3 points if they want. Argentina are in the lead. Yeah, there you go. And also, scrum to me in a tight disco lycra silver pants with glitter boob tubes and mud bath. Sounds like something that needs to be live streamed, doesn't it? Lavani Bortia, big shot going on to him by Dan Sheena, and then Robbie Henshaw. Yeah, the hands just went down before the counter ruck happened. Pretty obvious one there. What a sight, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Now lining up this kick again for La Rochelle. going to be Hastoy. Could be a battle with the threes in the second half, just because it is finals rugby at the end of the day. I think those two yawns made my eyes look very bloodshot. That has gone over. That will close that gap just a little bit more. 26 points to 20 now. Still Leinster in the lead, and they have been throughout this whole first 50 minutes of the contest. La Rochelle yet to taste what it's like to have a point advantage over Leinster. And Michael, here go Leinster. Oh, not too badly. They will want one or two more tries, I would think, though, just to really secure the deal. Kick long. Bryce Sterling takes it well and kicks that one into touch. Going into touch inside of the Leinster half. And ladies, I am in a public space. Please be aware of your discussions. Consequences for me. There's Kerr. Yeah, Kerr is standing or sitting probably about, I would say, 30 centimeters from his father. So so, you know, if he gets a bit excited, his father may think that he loves rugby a bit too much. That'll be a finals comeback record almost. 17-0 to 26 points to 20. That's only if they win it, though. That's going to be charged down from Romain Sazi. He did knock it on, though, so Leinster will have themselves the scrum feed. I can ref Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Just a little mistake there from Sazi, but he was doing well to get into the position of almost getting that turnover. Tawera Kurbalo, I should say. Big charge down. The bobbling ball just didn't quite work in his favour. Oh, I think they've just said it's actually Yellow's ball. How can it be Yellow's ball if he's knocked that one on? Okay, it looks like that is going to be a sub as well. Should have bet on this match. The odds weren't great, though. Lord Knowledge, and also keep your thoughts and concentration on the game there. It's all a purple haze, says Ruth. Hang on. It's not a knock on. It's off the head. It's Yellow's ball. Did that not get the fingers? Either way, it's going to be a La Rochelle line out now, ladies and gents. Big chance here for Boogerat to fire it down the middle. I think the girls would prefer a playful mud fight. Mumbo Jumbo. Line out's lost. La Rochelle have not lost one yet. Taken by Will Skelton. And Michael Alalatoa trying to sneak slightly around the side. They are trying to stop Leinster from being able to get through the middle. This is brilliantly done, although Jack Conan slowly like a fox just trying to break his way through. We've already seen a fox today in the rugby. That was actually in the sevens. There was a fox running around. And I'm in a daydream. There's Kerr. Nice offload. Lavani Ball ends up with it. Trying to look for it. Available now. Kerr Barlow can go off to the left-hand side. Now Dante has the crack. Moves to 15 out. All available, though. Dan Sheehan gets the ball back for Leinster. Brilliant work from him on the breakdown. La Rochelle, says Frank there. And Bears going down a treat. And also, did they win? Please tell me they won. I mean, I can tell you they won, but I'd be lying. They lost 14 points to 12 in that contest, Aiden. That one's gone into touch. Great clearing boot from Leinster. La Rochelle with Aldrit and Jonathan Dante down that short side. It was looking dangerous. And then Dan Sheehan just shuts it down completely, getting that ball back clean. Didn't even win the turnover for it. Just ended up ripping it out. And been an awesome day with Hammy Plus friends. There's Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. And the good news is we're doing it all again in only about 13 hours time. Or maybe a bit longer. Maybe about 15 hours time. We have got the next live streams that will be taking place. To Whitaker Barlow. Going across now. Flat ball to Lavani Botia. Gets his ankles taken out from underneath him by Robbie Henshaw. Now Sutini. Short ball to Gregory Aldrit. Now over the ball there. Jameson gives him Park. Not allowed to take it now. Come on, the Yellow Army. If Munster can beat them, you can too, says Daniel. Bag drive forward with Uni Antonio on his side. And to the left, Raymond Rule. Oh, no, he's not going to just stay in the field of play. Oh, no, he does. The ball offloaded nicely. Now big run forward for Hastoy. Runs out of space, though. Will Skelton picked up and dropped by Maloney and Sheehan. I think La Rochelle, they might be, it might not be a bad idea for them to go out wide here. Instead, though, Hastoy's tried a little chip and they have lost the ball. Now for La Rochelle, still 6 points between these two sides. Jameson gives him Park back into the pocket. Wasn't the best pass, so he did have to gather it from his bootlaces. Kick downfield. Bryce Doolin now. In fact, it's Hastoy. Plenty of time to boot that ball high. Gone through the middle. Up he goes for it. Doesn't take it cleanly, though. Hugo Keenan was underneath it. And also, that's a blue train is getting booked, says Kerr there. I got off to the left-hand side. Taking down Andrew Porter. Now Jameson gives him back, goes back to James Lowe. Too much for that one of James Lowe. It has gone out on the full. Another mistake coming from Leinster, and the pressure is starting to build now against the home side. A lot less clinical than they were in that first half. And Hamish, you need steak sandwich with grilled onions and garlic sauce with green salad and spicy rice. That sounds pretty good, Ruth. I'll be honest. I mean, me, George, and Daniel, and maybe Daniel's girlfriend as well, we might see us all go out for tea tonight, depending on what's happening. I have to get in contact with Daniel. I'll probably have to contact him this morning if I am up at about 7 a.m. I noticed you play Rugby Challenge too. I want to say you're pretty good rugby skills for someone who doesn't play it normally. It's been a while since we have played a game of Rugby Challenge, probably a few months. We did used to post quite a bit of it, so that might be where these skills do come from. Nice short ball to Jonathan Dante, but La Rochelle inside of Leinster's 22 now. Sutini was able to score himself the last try. Robbie Henshaw doesn't look good here. He is rolling around. Looks like he may have injured himself in the tackle attempt. Now he has to try and make another tackle. He's still looking very rocky. Great work from Josh Van den Flair, stripping the ball. And now James Lowe goes for the kick. It's an awkward one. It's travelled just far enough, though, to get them out of pressure. And also we've got there, you try and say Hamish is skinny, says Lord. I don't think that's what she's saying, Lord. And does your wife like Japanese? Look, those are good for skin, says Ruth. Now Robbie Henshaw, I think he's going to have to go off for an HIA. He looked a little bit staggered. Didn't look like he quite knew whereabouts he was. That was Gregory Aldred. Was it there? No, that's not where Henshaw got hit. We're still looking for it. Maloney, I know, got sat on by Gregory Aldred, and then the ball was stripped by Josh Van den Flair. Played 78 minutes against Munster last week. He wasn't supposed to. He's supposed to come off the bench for the last maybe 10 or 15. Because of the early injury, Amini had to go out there and had to have quite the performance. He actually got a couple turnovers in the process there as well. But we have got a bit of a drinks break at the moment while there is a bit of a tension happening for Will Skelton. Instead, they've spent a lot more time in their own half here for the second. Also, no knowledge, he's needing to keep his strength up. There it's hard work, says Roof. Yeah, to be fair, I probably had about 4 grams of protein today from being up for 17 hours. And we need to support Irish rugby. Sorry for the misspell. Says Mark there. Yeah, there's certainly a big opportunity next week for Munster. Also, greetings, Hamish and chat. I'm a Munster fan to my core. This hurts me to say. Boy, does it hurt. Come on, Leinster. We'll tell you what, we'll put it up on the screen so everyone can see it. There you go. Look, he's a Munster man, but he's going for... Sorry, I won't do that to you. Oh, I did, but I won't do it for long. We could all have a pool party, Hammy. I don't have a pool, but I could make a puddle. A puddle party doesn't quite have the same ring to it, though, does it? I mean, we've got an area for a pool, but the only pool that went in there was like one of those ones that you like put up the sides and whatnot. Right, Will Skelton back to his feet. Looks like he will be able to continue this contest, which is great news for La Rochelle because he is an absolute unit of an individual to have. Did Leinster ever appear in 3 Champions Cup finals in a row? Says Gareth. Not sure. They certainly always get right up there, don't they? But I believe the last time that they didn't reach a Champions Cup final, it may have been because La Rochelle knocked them out. There's a little bit of history between these two sides. And Bigoret throws the ball in, nicely taken by Suzzy. And they start their rolling maul. Slowly creeping towards that 22. It is swirling around. Great work here for La Rochelle. They've gone about 15 metres, and this will soon be an advantage. I think Josh Van der Flair fighting his way through the middle. And he might just have got his hands on the ball there, Josh Van der Flair. That is absolutely brilliant from the Leinster number 7 to get through the middle, to get that ball. I mean, Andrew Porter's getting the credit, but I believe that Josh Van der Flair was the start of that. You have a wonderful match. Those hot men running up and down to try and score. Does One Matty have a public pool? It does. It is kind of shallow, but it does exist. We've got a steak sandwich from Ruth. Says, okay, thank you very much, Kerr. Hugely appreciated. Good old steak sandwich, eh? The one that she said sounded all right too. Unbelievable. Let's go England. Says Aiden there. And also, who is the prop that looks like Brian Habana? Are you talking Rita Wardy in this game, maybe? And also, I know how they feel. Is Kerr. And also, I swear, I don't like watching Leinster. I just came here for the wonderful commentary. Says Lord, we'll appreciate that a lot. And that's okay, Hamish. We Munster aren't playing. I will always support an Irish side. There's mountains. Right, scrum feed now. 23 minutes remaining and only 6 points difference between these two sides. And thanks, Kiri. It's so cool. Unbelievable. There's Kerr there with the love hearts. I think you're winning her heart, Kerr. Now, it's gone down in the front. Another scrum reset. There'll be a few of those throughout the last 20 minutes or so of this contest, I would be thinking. Just because both sides will be putting everything into it. As soon as he says engage, bang. Best way of describing it, isn't it? I don't know why I say in it so much. I don't know where it came from. It's not a very Kiwi thing to say, but yeah, now I just say in it way too often. But I guess it saves some time because isn't it is an extra syllable. It rolls off the tongue. We'll love the Irish lads to win, but not Leinster. Jesus, they're obnoxious. Go. Ronan O'Gara, says Linda. Come on, Hammy. It can be one of those wonderful water holes in the bush. They're always the best, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. To be fair, there's a lake. Well, not a lake. It's kind of like a pond / water reserve nearby. It's got about 100 dead fish in it. But other than that, the water's all right. Brian Harbano's playing Hamish. He's tired, so he's probably mistaken. It's in the starting lineup, and his name's there. Here's Aiden there. There you go. I taught how to say in it, mate. Now, I think it was before you were around, Lord Knowledge. Ball's gone high. Taken nicely by Dylan Lades. Looks to go off to the left-hand side here for Bryce Doolan, trying to jump through the tackle attempt of Dan Sheehan. And that try came out of nowhere, says Kerr. Oh, that makes me a bit excited for this next play. Will Skelton goes back across. Dylan Lades. Oh, no, he's dropped the ball. Jonathan Dunty put it down. Does it Leinster get the next try? Maybe. And also, I'd like to think that I'm partly responsible for your in it habit. Yeah, you've been in it since the get go, haven't you? Just kidding, says Kurt. You got me there. I was like, hang on, I got to watch this, and then Dundee just fumbled straight through his hands. Couldn't help it. I'll forgive you, Kurt. And I was like, no, it was me, mate, says Lord Knowledge. Sebastian's been around for quite some time. Lord Knowledge looks like Conan's going off the field. What a performance from him. You talk about having a finals performance that you did absolutely everything you could have done. That is the definition of what he's done in this game. He had a brilliant run earlier on. He had the try assist to get them underway. USA scored a try. There's Aiden there. And you're responsible for a few things, Drac. Go the Freedom Bird, says Scrumlass. And still a last-minute try to steal the win. It could be. Still 20 minutes to go, so plenty of time for either of these sides to get that little bit more of a lead going. But the crowd are electric at the Aviva. It has been absolutely awesome hearing them. I'm sure it's even louder in person. Hey, Scrum Lads, fancy seeing you around. It's been a while. There's Aiden, and big love, Scrum Lads. There's Sebastian. All goes in. Jameson Gibson Park off the back now. It is going to be the replacement here. Taken down very low around the bootlaces. Bit of a counteract. This is not a ruck. This is just a dog pile. It looks like they're playing a game of Twister and everyone's lost. Who's Jameson Gibson Park ends up with it? I was confused there for a second. Hey, RDA, brother, how you do? Says Grumless. It's going to be kicked in behind. Bryce Doolan cleans it up. 20 minutes remaining. Off to Dylan Lades, the South African winger. Thought about offloading it. That's just straight through the middle for Jason Jenkins. Really lucky not to end up with the penalty. And also, we've got that Hamish Bruff. I wouldn't mind donating some KFC money, but my bank account does. And there says Lord Knowledge. Oh, going to be stolen in the breakdown from Leinster. That is okay. The KFC budget, it's one of those ones that has slightly disappeared from the channel recently. We haven't had as much KFC, although me and George went to KFC on Thursday. And so Blue Train is coming in at 5,000 Great British pounds. 5,000. Jeez. That is quite the number. That's 10,000 New Zealand dollars with the conversion rate for a 3-day trip. Elliot Stick, come on, someone. Says Roof, but Jonathan Dante, he was taken down. And then Dan Sheehan, he is another player who's put on brilliant performance. This time it was Robbie Henshaw. Come on, Rochelias. There's Gerard. And not too bad, been missing you. Being around, it's not the same without you. But I've been pretty good, but busy with lots of things. Says Aiden. Right, Henshaw. Looks like now he's going to have to go off for the HIA. That will bring Charlie Natai onto the field. He had a brilliant game in the semi-final. When I was new to this channel, I thought you're British, Hamish. He's like, I think when you were new to the channel, it was for one of those Six Nations live streams, wasn't it? He ended up abusing George. And then somehow you stuck around. Unless that is someone else. He did have a picture of KSI, though, and he did have a name with knowledge in it. And nothing like those summer swims, Abby, George, and Speedos. Haven't seen it in my life. I've seen George in togs, but not on the Speedos. Hamish is from Glasgow. Supports his home team too. And soon I'm going to have the kit to match, aren't I? I'll be wearing that in the off-season all the time, I think. Because I feel like Glasgow seems to be when you support a Scottish team in New Zealand, people don't judge you that much. Which is weird. But, like, if you support an Aussie team or anywhere like that, South African team, everyone's like, what are you doing? That was more of an Irish accent. I was like, you're not supposed to be, well, buy the train, just use it, says Grant. That's another penalty now to La Rochelle, taking the player out in the air. This time it's going to be against Jimmy O'Brien. I want Will Skelton to have a mic so I can hear his talk. He talks a lot throughout a game, Will Skelton. Piper does everything he can do to help Leinster. What a joke, says MB. I don't know about that. I think that Leinster have probably had the worst deal out of the two sides out there on the field. I expect to train with the prices. I think it must have been better to book it in South Africa. There's Kerr, and the jalapeno crisps are bloody amazing. There's Sebastian. Yeah, taking the player out in the air. See, that one, you'd say that Leinster were hard done by more than La Rochelle. Jimmy O'Brien didn't even realise he did it. Al Burgeret. Throwing the ball again, still keeping that 100% successful line-out rate for La Rochelle. Jonathan Dante hits it up straight into Hugo Keenan. It is an expensive trip, but wasn't expecting that, says Kerr. Now Will Skelton goes off to Kerr Barlow. Pass on the outside. Quick hands. Raymond Rule now drives at Jameson Gizem Park. And for some reason, I don't rate George. I think he has a bad influence on you, mate. He's always drunk for starters. He's not. He doesn't really drink. Now it's going to be off to Will Skelton. Now, going to be a loose ball. Leinster take it back. You only need to go to Cape Town. You don't need the blue train. There's Grant. Right. Yako asking for Jameson Gizem Park to use this one. Now back into the pocket, Charlie Natai. His first touch of the day, and he is mammoth that one down the field. AB's players who will be playing overseas after the Rugby World Cup: Artie, Richie, Aaron, Bowden, Brody, Shannon, Peter, Weber, Whitelock. A lot more haven't been re-signed or confirmed. So, yeah, there's a lot of guys who will be disappearing. Clearing kick from Leinster, not quite getting the meterage that they would have liked. Now 16 minutes remaining. La Rochelle again with the line out. It just seems like we're right on the verge of something happening for La Rochelle, or Leinster getting maybe an interception going through. And the blue train is my date with Roof, obviously, Grant. Says Kerr. To be fair, I was taking the piss. I just watched him once. Mm. Was that if it was that Six Nations live stream, he was very tired at that point, and he was half asleep, so that probably was why. I was like, "Fair enough," says Grant. Yeah, it's a bit of a fancy day, isn't it? A burgerette on forward has collapsed. This place is filling with fecal matter as we approach the last 10 minutes, says Kerr, and that will now be the scrum feed for Leinster. It's a bit of an interesting one. Every breakdown, Jaco flips his coin and goes, heads, that'll do. Leinster can have that one, or tails, La Rochelle. We'll go with that. Rumours Leicester is lowered to play in France. Yeah, Leicester fine Arnuku. I think he's almost signed that deal, hasn't he? He's getting close to it anyway. But Burgeret wasn't behind there for the rolling maul, but Leinster have done very well to be able to defend that in the second half. And Don, nice of you to say, brother. They've been around here too. We're all legendary 10 out of 10. Says Scrum last. Tackles made 159 for Leinster, 13 tackles missed. La Rochelle have only made 39. 120 more tackles in this matchup. That is not an easy task to do and still keep the intensity that they have been able to for the last little while. A bunch of adults in the comment section should probably act more matured, says Lord Knowledge. We're all ages, I believe. I wonder who is well, they probably aren't going to be able to type, but I was going to say, who do we think is the youngest, or who is the youngest? I originally came here just to catch up on a Six Nations game, says Kerr. Yeah, and you've been here ever since. Was that one that was myself, by myself, Kerr, or was George on that stream too? And then from there, you just went chick, chick, bang, 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 bang. The hippo became the mascot. Feel like I opened Narnia's closet, says Kerr. It's certainly been a journey, hasn't it? The fact that you're sitting in the stadium behind me as well is quite cool. But not literally, because this is a green screen. Like, it would fall over if I move it like that. But the actual one. Now Kerr Barlow versus Jameson. Gibson Park continues. Too much movement at scrum time. This is using up a lot of time here. It's not steady, says Jaco Piper. Both front rows, please behave themselves, is what he's just said. Get it right. Better from you. That's what he said to Andrew Porter. A good journey, my man. Lots of good laughs on the channel. Says Kerr there. Yeah, I mean, your commitment. You've been here every weekend, I believe. Even when you're going to games, even when you've been on a cruise ship in the middle of a random ocean, you still turn up. I'm 14, probably the second youngest there. I was a 12-year-old here once, says Lord. We're not willing, or we're not talking about the players. They're returning. Well, they're returning to New Zealand, says Mumbo Jumbo. Now another scrum. Gibson Park feeds the ball in for Leinster. They are just outside of their own 22. Massive push there. I would say that's La Rochelle's ball. And in fact, they have ended up with it, with Kerr Barlow diving on that one. Leave it, says Jaco. Round the side, Gregory Aldrit moves up to 22 metres out. La Rochelle, 13 minutes remaining, and they're down by 6. Over the ball. Oh, Caelan Doris told off there. And now around the side, Kerr Barlow. Tackled by Josh Van den Fleur. 10 metres out from the line. That has been dropped in, and they are going back. Now La Rochelle have a big decision to make. Do they go with the 3 points and then hope that they get another 3 later on? Or do you go with the corner and get that last little moment? Came for the Six Nations and stayed for the Hippos. And it was a shocking Safa accent, Hamish. I tried. It wasn't terrible for 5:20 a.m., was it? It could have been better, though. I will give you that. I've played in the stadium, world's smallest violin. Do you think Sale will be able to beat Saracens in the final? It's going to be a hard game for Sale Sharks, but from what we've seen in some of their other games, they are willing to dig deep. But yeah, Saracens look like they're going to have the better of it. Will the game be done just before the sevens? It should be anyway. As long as the clock keeps on ticking over the way that it is, it will be finished just before the sevens matchup by about half a minute. I'm here. So in a few years, I can say I knew him when, as Hamish runs commentary on the Rugby World Cup final. Geez, that would be. Well, I feel like your generosity would have got us there because you've probably upgraded the equipment. You've meant that we've been able to do this more often. So I feel like it's also going to be down to you. You would have been able to say I was his main sponsor back in the day. Now being thrown in by the replacement number 16 here, whose name I'm not even going to try and say. For La Rochelle. Now creeping just a little bit further for a great match. Says Jan Lou, that's going to be the advantage in favour of La Rochelle. Now the rolling maul only 2 metres out. That looked like a pure tackle there from Ronan Kelly. I think this is going to be a... Oh, he's just dropped the ball. Might be a yellow card here. Is it a double blow of the whistle? Nope. Yako says we'll go back for the penalty again. Collapsing the maul. Penalty against Leinster. These are starting to add up. What a rugby match, says Jack Lewis. Yeah, it's gone from a 17-0, what looked like it was going to be possibly close to, not, I don't want to say domination, but it looked like it was going to be extremely one-sided. And then, Levani Botia sculling water at the moment, trying to get rid of that cramp. Yeah, it's turned into a very good, close affair. And take away first 10 minutes, La Rochelle would be even or ahead. Says Gavin George was on great form this morning, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Let's dedicate a moment of silence for Chisel and Colby's performance on the Challenge Cup final. What a player, says Lord and Knowledge. And yep, says Yarnloo. Clock has been turned off again. So yeah, we'll be running relatively tight in terms of the start of that sevens matchup. We may miss 1 or 2 minutes of that one, but we'll be getting straight over when we can. They do kick for the corner again here, La Rochelle. And taste the try line. Do you agree or disagree? The final should have been moved from the Aviva. Not fair having a home side in the final. Don't agree with it at all, personally. La Rochelle, though, what an effort so far. Well, says Jack. Now, they've got another crack here. One more effort before 70 minutes passes. Jumping onto that one, Michael Alalatoyest. I hope he did it legally or else he would get himself in a lot of trouble. And I think it was the advantage against him now. Ball's not coming out of there now. It does. Almost another advantage. This is yellow card country for Leinster. That would mean that they're more than likely they'll be missing a player till the end of the game. Now around the side again, a big number 18 here. Columbe almost gets over. 1 metre from the line here for La Rochelle. Gregory Aldrich gets spun onto his back. That's going to be held up, but they're going back for another penalty. Right, Yako, double blow of the whistle. This has to be at least the final warning. There's a bit in the movie where, or when the pizza boy is ringing the doorbell, says Kerr. Or this is the bit in the movie, sorry, when the pizza boy is ringing the doorbell. An amazing resilience by the Irish. The La Rochelle's physicality has to break them down eventually. The Irish teams have built their stamina tremendously, says Patrick there. I feel like that was very good analysis from yourself, Patrick, there. I feel like we need to hire. I just talk fast. That's my thing. The deep dive and all that. Yeah, La Rochelle certainly playing physical. Definitely with someone like a Will Skelton in that forward back. Lavani Bortia, he was cramping up before, but I believe he's decided to continue this match. Gregory Eldred, always going to be physical for Le Bleu, but that is now another rolling maul chance here for La Rochelle. They say play on, breaking off. I really hope their number 16 doesn't score because I can't pronounce his name and I couldn't even get close, I wouldn't think, but he's been dragged down 1 metre short of the line. Josh Van den Fleur with a little bit of a counter ruck. Doesn't work out. Aldrich picks it up. Now off to the number 20 Bordeaux. Must be decent if you got the same last name as a whole team in the top 14. Kerr Barlow, little bit of a juggle there of the hands. Leinster calling for some more supporters or some more defenders out wide. Meters from the line now. It's going to be the big man. He drives. He's extremely close. Yako can't see. He's got it. The try is scored for La Rochelle. And that, oh no, Leinster, are they going down to 14 men? Gary Ringrose getting a talking to from Yako. 16. Oh, Ronan Kelleher, he's been a naughty boy, and he is going to be off the field for the last 8 minutes of this contest. Now, we're early on the front lifter. The yellow card, he'll be disappointed. Definitely after the performance we've seen from Dan Sheehan for that first 68 minutes or so. Ronan Keller has only been on the field recently and already, oh, hang on. Is that down? That's on a boot at that stage. I didn't see it from that angle. Let's go to La Rochelle, says Muscle Man. And also, this has been the biggest comeback in Champions Cup history, no doubt about it, says Jack. Right. They've said that it's a try. They must have saw an angle that had the grounding. But now Leinster, the fact that now they're talking about the fact that Leinster have to dig deep after being 17-0 ahead. I think the commentators are starting to get just that little bit more nervous. The kick is successful from La Rochelle for the first time in this matchup. It's going to be 27 points to 26. The La Rochelle side in the lead. This is getting interesting, says Grant. It certainly is. And I'll say, hello, no try. Interesting. Says Patrick Leo. Nobody here is thinking that was a try. No, it looked like it was held up, in my opinion. I saw it on a boot. We didn't get to see the angle where the ball was down, but I assume it was. Would give the TMO the benefit of the doubt. Come on, La Rochelle, do it for my Super Brew, says Benny. Now they have got 7 minutes remaining. They're ahead by 1 point. Now, earlier on, very early in the matchup, I'm sure someone said La Rochelle to win by 1 point. I can't remember who it was. It could be right. Big run forward from Hugo Keenan. Working hard throughout the full 73 minutes of this contest so far. Another run from Andrew Porter. Now Jameson Gibson Park goes across. Byrne decides to send it to the sky and try and put Doolan under pressure. It's a great take by him, though. Now 22 meters out from the La Rochelle line. They will look to use it. Looks like a little bit of confusion there for Suss. He wasn't sure whether he was going left or right, so instead just ran it straight. I'm not going for Leinster, but I know they'll get a 3 points and win, says LB. And also, if La Rochelle win, will Botia be the greatest Fijian player of all time, says Anonymous. I mean, he's a fantastic player, that is for sure. An Irish TV cameraman ain't showing ball or foot tucked in the ground at the Aviva, says Patrick True. I guess angles are everything, aren't they? Now Andrew Porter back across Charlie Ngatai, trying to bump off the defensive line. Bordeaux, oh, did he hold him up? No. Is told to release it. 6 minutes remaining on the clock now, and I feel like the time is going at about half speed currently. It's not ticking by quickly, and the win could be just around the corner for either of these sides. That's an advantage to Leinster for the high shot from Jonathan Dante. Now it will be about 48 meters out on the angle. Does Ross Byrne want to take it on? He's testing out the wind. I think he's going to have a crack. Oh, Jaco Piper. He's heard something in his ear and they're going upstairs for this. Haven't seen the replay yet. What happens there? Oh, okay. Shouldered to the chin. They'll probably call this as a yellow card here. Or a red. Either way, Jonathan Dante will not continue this match. We're going down to 14-14 for the final 5 minutes. Come on, boys. Says good heart. And also a La Rochelle for the win. Yeah, I would say yellow probably. Oh, but he's caught him right on that line. I've got no muscle there whatsoever. Shot to the head. Indirect. It's going to be a yellow card. I can't do a South African accent at this time of the night, unfortunately. It's currently 5:30 a.m. New Zealand time, ladies and gentlemen. La Rochelle, it's my city, baby, says Noah. You get the table, Jaco Piper. I was like, go, go, go. Right. What do Leinster do? I don't think he's not going to back his distance here. Or is he? No, they look like they want to kick it for the corner. Josh Van den Flair is saying to him, are you sure you don't have the distance? And yellow already is done for the game. Exactly right. Either way, he was going to be missing the rest of this contest. Same with the yellow card of Ronan Keller. Who's going to take the line-out throw? Did they think about that? I think it's going to be probably Josh Van den Flair. That man can do everything. Yeah, it's Josh Van den Flair. Brilliant player. The crowd are up when they found out he was going to be the man to take the throw. Can he get it right here? This would be the wrong time to have a not straight line out throw. Oh, it was great, but Yako says, he doesn't normally throw them, so we'll let it slide. Now 22 metres out from the line. Jameson gives him back inside ball. The man who just threw that one, Josh Van den Flair, full volume, cannot hear you, says Kerr. Yeah, it's definitely loud at the Aviva, and Byrne bottled it there, says Sean, and drop goal for the territory, says Gareth. Now, Michael Alalatoa at the moment for Leinster. They're looking for either a try or a penalty advantage. Big shot coming in on Byrne. Gives him Park. Back across now to Michael Alalatoa. Looks like there's some sort of injury for Joel Scalavi. Now, Leinster chance going around the ground. La Rochelle colours from R1. Gibson Park goes back across to Byrne. Charlie Ngatai has a crack. Does the fend as well. Moves within 5 metres. Ngatai almost going all the way. Dragged down just short of the goal line now. Leinster, if they score here, could be game over. I'm so glad that I am the only one at home at the moment because I've been very loud throughout this live stream. Maloney going across now for Leinster. Phase after phase, both sides scoring 3 tries, both sides having a yellow card. And Michael Alalatoa now, the ex-Crusaders player, does he have the crack? He does. Dragged down nicely. 2 metres out. Leinster looking for, like I mentioned, the try or the penalty advantage. Even better would be both. And who's almost there, Leinster, please, says Scrumless. 2 metres out still. Michael Alalatoa gets back up to his feet. Josh Van den Flair gets within a few inches as well. Now Gibson Park, they decide, I thought they were slinging it wide, but they go to Gary Ringrose, and the ball's popped out the side. La Rochelle get the possession back. And now they'll have to kick this one down the middle of the park. I'm smoking like so much weed right now, says Scrumlass. Now Kerr Barlow has to kick this one into touch some game when the Frogs meet the mix on any rugger field. There's Patrick, kick downfield, doesn't find touch. This is danger. James Lowe hasn't scored a try as of yet in the contest, but has been very close. Off to Ryan Barrett, as they called him. Now, Keenan ends up with the ball 15 metres out from the line. La Rochelle player not rolling. No, they get away with it. He was off to the side a little bit. Michael Alalatoa now trying to strip that ball again. Was La Rochelle. 2 minutes remaining. They've kept their composure so far, not ending up offside. Ryan Baird now has another run forward. Gives them back. La Rochelle, you can tell how much they want it because they do not want to let them through. Josh Van den Flair. Oh, player knocked out here for La Rochelle. This doesn't look good. And it looks like they will have now the numbers disadvantage for the next little while. Yako is not interested in that play. He's literally flat on his back. Yako, open your eyes, mate. They've stopped now. Yako's realised that a player might be in some serious danger here. And they've now decided to check on him. Yako's a fun character, isn't he? In defence, La Rochelle, come on, lads. But this will now become a scrum, which I think actually slightly benefits Leinster that little bit more because they do enjoy going for maybe the set piece. Looks like Yui Antonio might have to make his way back out onto the field. Referee getting some electrolytes. La Rochelle, solid game. And someone knocked the dude out. Says Nate, I think I'm going to poop, says Kev. I'll try and hold it just a little bit longer because we're only 2 minutes away from the final moment of the contest. It couldn't have been much closer than this, and I think that's exactly what everyone wanted to see. Cian Healy now making his way onto the field for Leinster. I will mention that the next game of the sevens that we were going to be starting on the channel has almost already started, I believe. But we will be finishing this game before we go on to that next one. Currently, there are 4 people waiting on that stream. But that's all right. They will have to wait. And I'll say, bad time for Leinster. They'll plan the attack. Time for Leinster to plan the attack. Yeah, they'll have a scrum, and they're going to go with a big push here. See if they can get themselves that penalty advantage, perhaps. And also, you're going to be having soup for dinner. I have 1 point separates them, says Kerr. Oh. Are they checking Michael Alalatoa with the illegal clean out, was it? Led him with the shoulder, got him on the back of the head and knocked him unconscious. They might have another look at this one. Too bad Cunner isn't here. He'll be doing a dance against Leinster losers. And also get the table there. Barlow's having KFC. Yep. Red card for Alan Alatoa. May have blown the opportunity here for Leinster to win the Champions Cup. Red card, Leinster says Gavin, game over. They are showing it from the other angle. He comes flying in, bang, head on head. Knocks him unconscious. Obana 2.0 might be in trouble. They're excited, and I was like, yeah, baby. The Austin Bowers and haven't seen Carter in ages. He's been missing, hasn't he? Might be in Cape Town, though, for the next one. Up against Stormers, right. Player is still getting stretchered off the field at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Alatoa, Crusaders ex-player, he is going to be going off the field for the rest of this game. Even if it was a yellow, he's still not going to be out there. It's going to become a game of rugby league soon with the amount of players left. It is the red card. Ringrose isn't happy. Someone getting fired today, says Kerr. That was a strange thing to do on their 5-metre line with a minute left. Very odd, says Jack. And I think that's just the adrenaline, the panic of we need to score right now. How come your time doesn't get updated? Pretty much the reason behind it was because I had my mouse not on the time. So it didn't update the try just in case it happened before we saw it. So that is the reasoning behind it. I can't update it now. It's at 78 minutes. La Rochelle and the Irish can't complain. They've loved Piper all game. There's Albion, which team is in the ascendancy. Just logged in now. So La Rochelle, 1 point lead, 14 players on the field. Leinster, 1 point down, 13 players on the field at the moment. So La Rochelle, they've got the penalty with 1 minute 45 remaining on the clock now. Now the crowd giving a round of applause here for the number 18. Hopefully he is going to be all right. I don't think he would be playing in next week's top 14 games. That is for sure. What we'll quickly do is we'll quickly reschedule that New Zealand versus South Africa game. I think we're almost going to miss the first half of that one. That will make a Sevens live stream literally 7 minutes in that case. He is being stretched off the field. That was a very loud clap. Hopefully he is all right. It is Georgia's Henry Columbe. They've taken him off. La Rochelle, though, his sacrifice to get hit in the head by Michael Alatoa may have just won La Rochelle the Champions Cup. And Leinster, just like Ireland, bottle it where it matters most. And also, oh, switches be over already, says Linda. Ball about to be kicked into touch. There is still 1 minute 40 remaining. La Rochelle, pretty decent meterage there. Moving to about 30 meters out from their line. Hastoy's not happy about it. I wouldn't push the refs at this stage, Hastoy, if I was him. Just because, you don't want that last minute penalty going against you that cost you the contest. La Rochelle, they will have the line out throw now. Taking their time. A few extra seconds. Can't take too long, though. Nicely taken. Now we see McGrath on the field for James Gibson Park. That is an advantage against Josh Vanden Flair. He went through the middle. The players formed it at the back, says Jaco Piper. And now we are only 1 minute away. Looks like there's another injury here. That looks like Big Will Skelton. Had quite the battle out there on the park. 2 games on the bounce. They have done this. Leinster have bottled it. And that is actually, unfortunately for Leinster, the same as what happened, I believe it was last year or the year before. They ended up getting knocked out of the URC and knocked out of the Champions Cup in that same week. The same 2 weeks. Hard luck Ireland. Oops, the Leinster, I mean. There's Mark J. Also, Leinster's choke is massive. Says Gareth. Yeah, to be up by 17 points and then to end up in this scenario is certainly something that they will soon want to forget. Our ball about to be thrown in for La Rochelle. 30 seconds remaining, but is the game over yet? We have to wait and see. La Rochelle going for the rolling maul. They have got 20 seconds. So is it the comeback record? I'm not too sure of the exact number, but I know it will be right up there. Now, Kerr Barlow hanging on to this ball at the back, becoming part of the rolling maul. This is very risky, though, because he might get stuck in there. 7 seconds remaining. It's going to be a countdown. The ball is stuck. Does Leinster get one last crack? Do they? No, they don't. The ball is at the back for La Rochelle. Big clean out coming from James Lloyd. They put it back into the pocket, and La Rochelle on away soil at the Aviva have become Champions Cup, well, champions. Best way of describing it. Hell of a game, amazing comeback. Well done, La Rochelle, with the coaching of Ronan O'Gara. And off the ball, we'll be dropping their ovaries after this game in Ireland. And look forward to the Rugby World Cup quarterfinal now, lol. Says Krampus. And let's go, says Muscle Mail. But La Rochelle, the emotion on the players' faces. They just can't quite believe what they've just been able to accomplish. Leinster 17-0 up to then drop it and end up conceding a whole heap of points near the end to make it 27 points to 26. An absolutely top matchup and great game, says LB, and a let's go, says Anonymous. But nonetheless, what we will have to do now, ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to start a live stream about 7 minutes ago, and that was the matchup taking place between New Zealand and South Africa. Currently, New Zealand leading 15 points to 0. So what we might end up doing is we either continue this live stream for another 7 minutes, or we pop over to that next live stream and we just end up having a casual chat, and then that one probably gets put on private, seeing as we missed the whole first half. That try, that wasn't a try, made the difference. So Jaco, it was such a weird one because I think Jaco Piper had such an interesting game that both sides don't know who he favoured more, if that makes sense. Like Jaco Piper, he had those moments. So Leinster supporters thought he was in favour of La Rochelle, but then we saw so many La Rochelle supporters saying it must be nice for Leinster having Jaco in their pocket. So it's a bad performance all round from Jaco, I think you call it. Thank you, Kiwi lads. He's good hard, and Argentina waits for the third best in the quarterfinals. And also GG La Rochelle there as well. And Hamish the Russian said by 1 point, says Blues Night. And also great commentary, says Gareth, and chokers again, says Danny DeToy. Yeah, unfortunately for them, once again, getting knocked out when it mattered most for Leinster. But that is now halftime in the contest between South Africa and New Zealand. Currently at this point of the match, New Zealand have got themselves a pretty handy lead, 20 points to 0. And always great watching and listening to you during load shedding in South Africa, says Good Heart. Appreciate that a lot, mate. Fantastic job, Hamish, with the commentary. Still being awake, says Grant. Yeah, I think the thing is, I forgot that after this live stream, I'm going to be setting up probably about 6 or so 7s live streams and having food. So I'm probably not going to bed for another few hours. But nonetheless, that will be the end of this live stream, ladies and gents. We will be going over to that New Zealand versus South Africa one for the second half. Highly recommend you guys come over for a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a catch-up. But that is the link to come check it out. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all for the next one.